Okay, so if you put your little thing so that this looks like this, we are going to start with decimal to percent. And if you look at this, it says take your decimal and multiply by 100. So what is 0.48 times 100? 48%. Good. What is 0.08 times 100? 8%. What is 2.56 times 100? 256%. All right, now we are going to turn it just a little bit, and we're going to do the opposite. So this one says percent to decimal is divide by 100. So I'm going to take 97 and divide it by 100. What does that give you? 0.97. I'm going to take 9 and divide it by 100. What's that give you? 0.09. I'm going to take 125 and divide by 100. What's that give you? 1.25. Okay? So decimal to percent times 100, percent to decimal, divide by 100. All right? Now we are going to turn it a little bit more for the percent to fraction to percent. So first, let's turn a fraction to a decimal. So we are going to do 3 divided by 4, which equals what? 0.75, and then I'm going to times that by 100, and so we are going to get the answer 75%. I'm going to take 2 and divide it by 5 and get 0.4, and times by 100 to get 40%. So that's what you should have for the fraction to percent. And again, if you look right here, right, it says it. It says what you're doing. There's only 2 boxes in here that don't say what to do, and one of them is the next one. So it says percent to fraction. So let's start with percent to a decimal. So I'm going to do 9 divided by 100, which equals what? 0.09. And I would actually legitimately write that correctly, right, as 900ths. So that is this as a fraction. I'm going to do the same thing with the next one. I'm going to do 97 divided by 100 and get 0.97. From there, I'm going to put it over 100. So 97 over 100, and that is my fraction. Okay? So the last one, same thing. Let's first change it to a decimal. So 125 divided by 100 is 1.25. So to change that to a decimal, fraction, I keep my whole number, and then I write the fraction 25 over 100. If I reduce that, that gives me 1 1/4. Okay, so that's your final answer. Alrighty, the next one that doesn't tell us how to do it, but we're going to kind of take what we've done and work with it, is decimal to fraction. So it says decimal to fraction. So I'm going to do 0.06, we just did this, right, is 6 over 100. If I reduce that, I get 3 over 50. Same thing, 48 hundredths would be 48 over 100. If I reduce that by 4, I get 12 over 25. This one is where it gets a little bit harder.